Hey, my friends. So I want to sell a few knives today, and I've never done this like on YouTube. So I'm really not sure what's the best way to go about this, but I want to make it really simple. I'm not a fan of PayPal and their politics, so I'm not going to be using them. And there's a few other companies that I don't like, but there's a number of companies that I do like, but just for simplicity, I'm just going to narrow it down to accept money from Google Pay and Google Pay only. And if you don't know how that works, you can always message me. But basically, you just have a login, like you would log into your Gmail account, and you can just add a credit card or debit card. I believe it's free to send money if you use a debit card. And you can simply just send money to an email address, whatever their email address is that's connected to their Google Pay account. Now, my channel, the channel email address is not my Google Pay address. Once again, the Google Pay address is not the channel email address. I have a separate email address for Google Pay. So what you need to do, if you see anything that you want and you want to buy it, just email me at the channel email address, which is theartofprepping@hotmail.com. Once again, theartofprepping@hotmail.com. It's a very simple email address. And from there, I'll tell you if the knife has been sewed or not. And I'll send you my Google Pay address from there if it's not sewed and you want to buy it. The first item will be $5 to ship, and each additional item is $2. Shipping will also include tracking. So hopefully that's going to be agreeable by most people. And if you don't have a Google Pay account, it's once again, the most simple thing that you can do. It's actually, in my opinion, quite a bit more simplified than PayPal. There's a lot of people who have Google Pay. It used to be primarily called Google Wallet. Google Wallet still exists, but it's integrated now into Google Pay. So hopefully that is going to be okay with you. And like I said, if you don't have a Google Pay account, it just takes almost no effort to just sign up and put a card on file and to transfer money. No big deal. And once again, when I get the money, I'll do my best to ship it out within a few days, the products. And also, please leave a little message when you send the money with a name, an address, and the knife that you bought, just so I can verify everything. Obviously, I need a name and address to send it, send the products to. But having the name of the items again just kind of like verifies that I'm sending the right items to the right person. So I'm going to be showing you some different images of the knives that I'll be talking about. They may not be like sequentially in order, so when I speak of them, it may not be on the screen at the same moment. I'm sorry about that. I'm doing a voiceover in the woods right now, and it's going to be just way too complicated to sync up what I'm saying with the knives. But if you just wait a moment, probably you'll see the knife that I'm talking about will pop up if it's not already on the screen. So just bear with me there as well. I really do appreciate that. So I have a list of knives. The reason I'm getting rid of these knives is because I have duplicates of a lot of these, or I just don't use them. It's just that simple. Most of these are in like new condition, or they're very lightly used. I mean, some of these don't even look like they've been used, and some of these have not been used. They've just been sitting in a box or sitting in a display case or whatever. Some of these knives are a little older. Some of these knives are not made anymore. So if you're into collecting knives, a lot of these are very affordable. And if you just kind of like it, and if you want to support the channel, there you go. Here's an opportunity. The reason I'm doing some of this is to generate a little extra money. I've had a bill recently that was a little more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And so it kind of helps me to pay the bill, as well as to save up for maybe something else that I can buy for the channel to review. And so this is just kind of a very helpful thing if you want to participate. If you don't want to, it's no problem, because I can understand if you don't connect with any of these knives, and then definitely don't buy any of these knives. But if you do like something, just know that the more you buy, the cheaper the shipping is, because it gets averaged over, a number of knives. So $5 for the first knife and $2 for each additional knife. So let's jump right into it now. The first is the K-Bar Dozer in the tan coloration, $14. It's very lightly used. I have carried this a few times for sure. It's been sharpened at least once, maybe twice, with the Spyderco Sharp Maker, just the ceramic rods only. And it's a great knife. I just have a number of these, and I have all the colorations. And I just was like, okay, let's just pick one so that I can generate some extra money. So I just had to pick a color, and I picked this color. And so, yeah, $14 will get you this. The next is there's a buffalo pen knife with a pocket clip, and it has buffalo horn inlay as the handle scales. This is not, being currently made anymore. It's made by a company called P&S, and I have 2 of these that I'm going to go ahead and let go. I have a collection of these. I really like buffalo horn as a handle scale, but I need to generate some money, so let's go ahead and move 2 of these, and I'm going to sell these for $10 each. This is a camouflage knife. This is like a spring-assisted Maxim camo knife. It's like a desert camo, and this camouflage knife is it's just something that I like to kind of open and close. It flicks open real fast, and it's just kind of fun. It's not something that I've ever really used to cut anything. It's just kind of a novelty. You could carry this for your EDC, but just because of the blade shape and configuration, it's not probably the best user knife, but it's just a fun knife. For $5, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. The next is the Kershaw Shuffle 2 in the tan coloration. I have like 7 of these, so I'm going to get rid of 3 of them just to help generate money. So the Shuffle 2, I'm going to let these go for $13 each. 2 of these have never been used before. They're just backups and just extra. One of these has very, very light use. I think I carried it just for a few days, cut a few little pieces of string and rope, and I think that was it. Maybe an envelope I opened, but they all have, to my knowledge, the factory edge still, and they're still fairly sharp, or they are very sharp. And so $13 for the Shuffle 2. The large Bucklight Max. I've had this for a long time. Almost no pocket wear whatsoever. I think I've sharpened it only one time. I have a lot of buck knives, so I typically went with the medium size when I carried the Bucklight Max, but the large Bucklight Max is something that kind of just always was there, but it didn't get used much. I'm asking $12 for that, and I don't know if that one's made anymore. I think it might be, or there's a variation of it that's still made, but this is like one of the earlier models. It locks up very tight. There is no blade play on any of these. The next is the medium Bucklight Max. And so the large, I'm asking $12, and this medium is going to be $10. This is the one I used the most when I did carry a Bucklight Max. And it's cool. It's just that I kind of prefer the Spyderco Delica 4. I'll just be honest with you. And so I kind of stopped using this for a while now. And it has very, very minor wear. You almost can't tell at all that there's been almost any pocket carry. So $10 for the medium. And I also have the small that I'm going to move on through as well. So the small Bucklight Max, which pretty much has almost zero, carry or use, $10 as well. It's almost in like new condition. I have this small K-bar dozer. I have a number of these, and I was just going to go ahead and get rid of one of them. $12 for the black-handled mini or small dozer, K-bar dozer. The next is the small or mini Gerber paraframe, and this kind of a bright green. It does have a pocket clip. $5 for that. The Gerber Sharkbelly, and I haven't really owned this very long. I do really like the lightweightness of this, and I really like the fact that the blade shape is what it is. I think it's very usable. It's a nice, different look for Gerber. And I kind of debated a lot if I wanted to really sell this, and I kind of really don't. But I have to create a list of knives to sell if I'm going to generate money. So I'm just going to let it go at a loss at $15, and it's in like new conditions. I have kind of broken it in a little bit in terms of the pivot isn't so tight as it was, but it still locks up like a bank vault. And I've only sharpened it one time, and very lightly though, with the ceramic rods on a Spyderco Sharp Maker. So basically the knife is like in like new condition. Okay, the next is a M-Tech fixed blade. It's like a little small micro fixed blade with like some tan G10 handle scales. This little guy I have sharpened a lot more so than the factory edge. It's a lot better than it was. Comes in like a little hard plastic sheath. You can use this as a neck knife, or I'd probably just kind of have it in like a little backup knife in a small survival kit. But this little M-Tech knife, $5. The Cold Steel push dagger, I think this is called the Urban Edge. This is a double edge push dagger. It has serrated edges on both sides. It's in basically mint condition, pretty much, or like new condition. $22. I'm definitely taking a loss on that. I just never used it. Just sat in a box, or a drawer. Or I think maybe I did use it for a while, just like attached to a backpack strap, but I never actually cut something with it. It's completely unused. The next is the original Dragonfly, black handle. It's in the VG10. I got the new Dragonfly 2 recently, and it's like, I don't really need to have the original. $35 for the original Dragonfly. If you're a collector of Spyderco knives, $35 is very fair. I don't know exactly what these are going for on the secondary market, but this is like new condition. Seriously, there is no blade play. It's solid. It's good to go at $35. That's a bit cheaper than what I paid for it. Let me tell you that. When it first came out. The next is the Buck Vantage. As you will hopefully see on the screen, at some point you'll see this knife, and it's in pretty good condition. It's been used a few times, but it's not so much the use. It's just there was a little bit of rust at one point that formed on the very backside of the inner scale. I do believe that I got almost all of it, if not all of it, buffed out or sanded out, and it's been heavily oiled since then. But it's not really anything to really get upset about. $15, and this thing is butter smooth. It really flips out, no problem. It's a great knife. $15. It's just a little bit heavy for me and a little bit larger than I normally carry, and I just noticed that I carry other knives, more so than this. The next is the Gerber Order. The Gerber Order I've had for a little while. I think maybe like a little bit less than a year. So not like a long time, but long enough to know that it's a neat knife. It's very grippy in its handle, and it's easy to open one-handed, and there's a lot of good things about it. It's just something that for me, I prefer an opening shape that is a circle, like the Spyderco, knives, like the Delica 4, for example, has a circle, for the thumb opener. And I've just gotten so used to that it's not that this doesn't work. It's just that it feels weird. And so I put this on the list. For $15, you can have the Gerber Order. The Smith & Wesson M2.0. This is actually a pretty recent purchase. I have a number of Smith & Wesson knives. I'm going to keep the other ones, but this one right here, well, I'm going to get rid of maybe another one as well here. I just looked at the list. But this one right here is for $10. And this is one of their newest versions that with the ball bearing technology. And it is just super smooth. It does not have spring assisted feature, but I can tell you that it feels like it does. It just launches open, but it's just because of the ball bearings are so good. So yeah, for $10, the Smith & Wesson M2.0. The silver paraframe, this is like the original paraframe. So if you're a collector of Gerber, they don't make the paraframe like this anymore. Yeah, I kind of didn't really want to do this one as well, put this one up for sale because it has a lot of memories. There is a little bit of wear on it, but it's pretty minor. I have sharpened it a few times. The pivot is very easy to adjust, and overall, it's just a nice, compact, lightweight knife. $6 for that knife. The next is the Spyderco Bird Finch. It used to be my keychain knife. There is a little bit of just wear because I had it on my keychain for a number of years. But it works just perfectly fine, locks up just fine. It's very lightweight. $6 for that. The Bear Grylls knife made by Gerber. This is the Scout model, and I have 2 of these that I'm going to go ahead and get rid of, just because I never carry it, because it kind of looks a little goofy with the coloration and everything. But if you just kind of want, a beater knife or something, it actually does have a really sharp edge. It's easy to sharpen because it has softer steel. It actually holds an edge pretty okay. It's not that bad, really. I really don't know what the steel is. I think a lot of people don't know what the original, because these were the original Bear Grylls Scout knives, not the newest iteration. So these are kind of like, these are things that I bought a number of years ago. I will admit it's been a while, but they are in like new condition. I've never actually took them and did anything with them in the wild, or I didn't go camping with them, and they're just kind of a novelty. But I'm going to go ahead and move them out the door at $6 each. The Smith & Wesson Gold Shield. This is definitely a lot older knife. It's also part of the Working Horse series, but this one's just labeled Gold Shield. This one is pretty dirty, and it's not so much because I was like using it a bunch. It's just the rubberized handle kind of just, I don't know what it is, but like dust and dirt just sticks to it. You can still clean it and everything. I might just give it a little bit of I'll try to clean it up a little bit at least. But you may want to work on that a little bit more if you get this one. The Smith & Wesson Gold Shield for $4. I have a little money clip that has a burl wood onlay. And this money clip has a little blade that has a frame lock. It's just all very kind of just a generic brand. There is no brand, but it's brand new, and it's just, I never used it. It's just part of a collection, I guess. I have a lot of money clips. I just like money clips. $4 just to kind of get rid of that one. Also, I have a black combo edge Gerber paraframe, and it's a medium size. If you're interested in that, $7. And that one is like brand new. I've had it for a little over a year, I believe, but it's the newest version. And so it has a larger thumb stud, and there's a little bit of a differences between the original paraframe. So if you want the modern version in black frame, there you go, $7. You really can't beat that. That isn't really a bad knife at all. It's just, it doesn't get a lot of love because it comes from Gerber, but you know what? They work. The next is a Ross-free knife. This one is just kind of an odd bird that every once in a while I get it out and just open the knife just because the thumb stud is so unique. It kind of just sticks up so much. But in terms of actually carrying the knife and using it, I've just never done it. But it does have a decent blade. It probably is some type of 440 stainless steel, if I had to guess. $5 on this one. The next is the Maxim Executive Lock Back folder. And so, yeah, if you're into a more traditional folder that locks back or has a locking feature, yeah, I mean, it has laminate inlay scales. It's just a decent knife. It's brand new. I never used it, and I still have the box. $5 for this knife. And lastly, the Winchester Ranger series knife, and it's just, I think it's just like around 4 inches or just a little over 4 inches closed, something like that. I think it has ABS plastic handles, has a little Winchester Ranger law enforcement star on the blade, and they don't make these, I don't believe, anymore. I think they stopped making these many years ago. I don't even remember what this cost, or I mean, I think I remember what I paid for it, but I think the retail was like $25 or so dollars. But this was just for the collection. I never used this knife, and you'll see it's in an unused condition. But I'll let it go for like $6 just to generate some money here. So that's my list. Hopefully it wasn't too laborious trying to match what I was saying with images on the screen. I know it could be a little bit distorted there, different pictures of knives coming up at different times, but if you can just bear with me and just just see what you can see, and if you figured it out, that's cool. You may have to go back and watch the video after you I think the best way to go about this is to actually like just write down the first time you listen to the video what you want, and then you go back and you can look at the pictures if you want to just examine it closer. So this is the list. Once again, email me first over at the channel email address, and that is theartofprepping@hotmail.com. And if the knife or knives are available, I'll go ahead and send you my Google Pay address. And once again, just send the funds. I'll give you the total as well, and you can just send the funds with a message with your name or a name and an address to send it to. And of course, just to confirm the knives once more, just list those as on the actual payment message, and we should be good to go. I mean, I'll try to ship these things out within a couple of days if possible, and I'll have a tracking number. And once I get the postage and everything done, and I'll try to, like, if you want me to, I can just message you the tracking number so you can kind of see where it is and when it's expected to be there and all that stuff. So yeah, this should be fun. I don't expect to generate a lot of money doing this or nothing, but just maybe a little bit to help me pay for this unexpected, this bill that was unexpected. And also to maybe, if there's anything left over, to simply maybe put some money aside so that if there's anything that's cool that comes up, I can buy it and review it for the channel. As always, thanks for checking this video out. Thanks for your support. Hope you found a knife that you like. Maybe you found multiple knives, and we'll just go from there. Once again, this is my first time trying to sell knives on YouTube, so this is a different thing for me. I've used other platforms before, but I've never tried it like this. We'll just keep it real simple, and hopefully everything will just be real super smooth. And we'll just go from there. All right, guys take care.